A nightclub hostess mysteriously missing for 3 months suddenly turns into a bodiless case that shocks Hong Kong. Investigate the life of the dance floor queen, as new mysteries are gradually unveiled, sending shivers down many people's spines. The tangled relationships involving love and money in the bustling metropolis make the case more intriguing. However, the investigation process extended over many years due to lack of clues. To this day, the victim's body has never been found permanently. Nevertheless, the police still convicted the perpetrator despite having no evidence or body. This is also a rare case in Hong Kong, where the criminal was caught despite the victim's body not being found. Let us decode the most intricate case in Hong Kong's history with many thrilling and captivating details through the video below. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive notifications whenever there is a new video. The context of this story takes place in Hong Kong, China. In January 2012, Qin Kun, a man from Sichuan, China, appeared in Hong Kong with a face full of fatigue and worry. But Qin Kun did not come to travel or work. He came to report to the police about the mysterious disappearance of his sister, Qin Jiayi, 33 years old, who had been missing for the past 3 months. Qin Jiayi originated from the impoverished region of Sichuan. Her life began to change when, at the age of 17, Qin Jiayi moved to Shenzhen to work. Not long after, she fell in love with a truck driver from Hong Kong. Despite their poverty, the two loved each other deeply and considered marriage. The initial sweet romance quickly led Jiayi into marriage, and she left Shenzhen to live with her husband in Hong Kong in 2006. The marriage seemed destined to bring happiness, but not long after, the shadow of disappointment began to loom as Qin Jiayi was unable to have children. Unable to bear a childless life, Qin Jiayi and her husband decided to divorce. After the painful breakup, Jiayi had nowhere to rely on, no home, no career, and her life became more precarious than ever. To make a living, Jiayi turned to jobs in bars and nightclubs, where dim lights obscured the loneliness in her heart. But in October 2011, something strange happened. Jiayi's family and friends suddenly lost contact with her. Her acquaintances in Hong Kong, including colleagues working in the same dance floor, searched many times but no one knew her whereabouts. Calls and messages went unanswered, as if Qin Jiayi had vanished into thin air. In those search efforts, Alan, a coworker, revealed that Jiayi, known as the dance floor queen, was very popular with customers. Among them was a familiar guest, a man who frequented the place, known as Boss Tran. The police investigation quickly revealed that Boss Tran was none other than Chen Wenchen, the director of a powerful and wealthy financial securities company. The mysteries surrounding the relationship between Jiayi and Chen Wenchen began to unfold, shedding light on her disappearance. Chen Wenchen, 41 years old, known by his English name Ivan Chen, is one of the powerful financial directors in Hong Kong. After migrating to the United States in 1991 to study and gain experience, Chen returned to Hong Kong to develop his career and quickly advanced in the financial sector. Through his efforts and leadership abilities, he held the position of director at Guotai Junan International Securities, a reputable financial conglomerate. Chen's work not only required him to manage large transactions, but also to face pressure from the Securities and Futures Commission and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. With a base salary of up to $210,000 per year, along with huge bonuses and commissions, Chen is a highly influential person in the industry. However, when asked about Qin Jiayi, the young dancer famous in nightclubs, Chen only admitted to knowing her but appeared to know nothing about her mysterious disappearance. Delving deeper into this relationship, the investigation team discovered that the connection between Chen and Yi was not merely social acquaintance. As the director of a large securities company, Shen's work pressure was increasingly heavy. To alleviate stress and maintain partnerships, he frequently visited nightclubs and bars to unwind. On a night in September 2007, Chen Wenchen's life changed when he entered the nightclub KTV Touch in the famous Tsimshutsui area. In the dim lights and lively music, his eyes accidentally met Qin Jiayi, a beautiful hostess dubbed the dance floor queen of the club. Qin Jiayi possessed captivating beauty and a charming, gentle way of speaking that immediately caught Chen Wenchen's attention. She was also assigned to serve Tom's group that evening. After their first meeting, Every time he came here for entertainment, Chen Wenxin requested Qin Jiayi to come out again. The girl, originally from the countryside and now enjoying the glamour of the big city, was easily drawn into the affections of an experienced, successful man like Chen Wenxin. Their relationship progressed further when, during a drunken night, Chen Wenxin called Qin Jiayi to a hotel. Afterwards, the two developed a relationship. Initially, Chen Wenxin only wanted to consider Qin Jiayi as a secret lover, nothing more. He even offered to pay after each meeting, but Qin Jiayi refused the money because she did not want to be treated like a kept woman. Qin Jiayi agreed to be Chen Wenxin's mistress, loving this man wholeheartedly despite Shen having a wife and 2 children. To maintain this illicit affair, Chen Wenxin did not hesitate to buy Qin Jiayi a luxurious apartment in the Amoy Gardens area and put her name on it. Not only stopping at providing housing, Chen Wenxin also regularly sent money to Qin Jiayi as a monthly allowance. He continued to indulge Qin Jiayi, even purchasing additional life insurance for her, a testament to their long-term bond. Between them, affectionate nicknames replaced regular names, making their relationship increasingly close and difficult to break. In 2011, the illicit relationship between Chen Wenxin and Qin Jiayi became known to Shen's wife, Ms. Zhang. In anger and desperation, Ms. Zhang immediately confronted Chen Wenxin, demanding that he immediately end his relationship with Qin Jiayi. Not stopping there, she went to meet Qin Jiayi in person to confront her, leading to a fierce argument where neither would back down. In pain from the betrayal, Ms. Zhang threatened to commit suicide twice if her husband did not leave his mistress. Chen Wenxin stood at a crossroads, enduring pressure from both his wife and mistress. On one side was his family, with a wife who had stood by him through many storms. On the other side was Qin Jiayi, the young woman he had immersed himself in a secret love and fresh allure. Finally, after many days of deliberation, Shen decided to return to his family, hoping to mend the wounds he had caused himself. However, Qin Jiayi, having become too accustomed to Shen's provision and care, did not accept such an easy ending. She still tried to hold on, only agreeing to meet him less often to wait for things to calm down, hoping for a future when everything eased. However, on October 5, 2011, an unexpected event occurred. After returning to her apartment in the Amoy Gardens area, Qin Jiayi disappeared mysteriously, leaving behind unanswered questions. Tang Wenlian and Qin Jiayi are 2 friends from Sichuan, with a relationship lasting over a decade. On September 30, 2011, after a tense argument with her daughter, Lian sought refuge at Mi's home in Hong Kong for a few days. At this place, Lian learned that Yi and Chen Wenxin had ended their relationship, but Yi still harbored hope to reconcile with the wealthy man. Lian stayed at Yi's house for a few days because Yi worked late at night, often leaving the house while Lian was still asleep and returning when dawn had broken. On October 3rd, the last time they met, Lian could not have imagined that this reunion would be their final meeting, because she had to return to her hometown in Sichuan due to her father's illness. A month later, when Lian returned to Hong Kong, she could not contact Yi. Her phone was also turned off. When she arrived at Yi's workplace, Lian became even more worried upon learning that her friend had not gone to work for a whole month. Feeling increasingly uneasy, Lian decided to report Qin Jiayi missing to the police. However, because she was not a direct relative and was not fluent in Cantonese, Lian's plea for help went unnoticed. Shortly after, Tan Wenlian contacted Qin Jiayi's older brother, Qin Kun, to inform him of the situation. Upon receiving Tan Wenlian's notification, Qin Kun was furious to learn that his sister had mysteriously disappeared. At this point, Kun quickly arranged his work, prepared the documents and procedures to go to Hong Kong to search for his sister. According to Qin Kun, Qin Jiayi frequently kept in touch with the family through phone calls and the QQ application. The last call the family received from Qin Jiayi was on October 4, 2011. Qin Kun only knew vague information about his sister's wealthy boyfriend, who had bought her a house in Hong Kong. By the time Qin Kun completed the procedures and went to Hong Kong to report to the police on January 16, 2012, Qin Jiayi had been missing for over 3 months. The pressure on the police pushed them to decide to search Qin Jiayi's apartment. The investigation quickly focused on Chen Wenxin, the only man who had a close relationship with Qin Jiayi in Hong Kong. In March 2012, the police officially began searching Qin Jiayi's apartment at Building E, Amoy Gardens residential complex, where she had lived before disappearing. What struck them was a strangely empty space. All the furniture in the house had been completely cleared out, the walls freshly painted, leaving no trace except a few strands of hair. The most important clue in this case came from the residential complex's surveillance camera system. Although the data is usually overwritten after 3 months, a lucky incident occurred, allowing the footage from the day Qin Jiayi disappeared to be preserved intact. In the final video, Qin Jiayi appeared on the elevator at 4:15 p.m. on October 5, 2011, stepping out of the elevator on the 21st floor, where she lived. The strange thing was that there was no footage showing her leaving the apartment since then. The only way she could have left the building undetected was through the emergency exit, but the building management did not record any door openings. Moreover, if someone used the emergency exit, the fire alarm would sound if the door was opened. Qin Jiayi lived on the 21st floor, so other departure methods were impractical. The police also ruled out the possibility that she disguised herself after carefully checking the video. The police turned back to Chen Wenchen, Yi's boyfriend. Security cameras showed that he had appeared on the 21st floor on October 6 at 6:52 p.m. and left the area at 8:34 p.m. Transaction data from his electronic payment card revealed items he purchased afterward, including gloves, deodorant, large storage bags, and plastic wrap. He returned to the apartment at 8:56 p.m. and left again at 10:11 p.m. the same day. But it didn't stop there. At 10:18 p.m. on October 7th, the surveillance camera recorded Shen carrying a large cloth bag up to the 21st floor. At 10:44 p.m., Shen left the apartment with a stroller with a rather heavy bag on top, moving down to the parking lot. He arrived at the TKO Plaza parking lot, where the car was parked at 11:37. A few days later, Shen carefully drove the car to get washed, while also hiring someone to clean and repaint Jiayi's apartment, trying to cover up any remaining evidence. By combining details from camera footage and evidence, the police hypothesized that Chen Wenchen had murdered Qin Jiayi on the night of October 6. Then, he hid the body in a bag and used a car to transport it for disposal at some location. To reinforce this theory, the police conducted an experiment by having a female officer of similar height and weight lie in a canvas bag similar to the one Shen used. The results were frightening. The officer could be completely concealed in the zippered bag. The police believed that washing the car, cleaning, and repainting Yi's apartment were the final steps in Chen Wenchen's perfect plan to conceal the crime. After October 6th, Qin Jiayi's relatives and friends unexpectedly received a message from her phone stating that Yi had returned to mainland China. However, something unusual quickly emerged when the immigration department confirmed that there were no records of Yi leaving Hong Kong. When the police interrogated Chen Wenchen, Qin Jiayi's boyfriend, he firmly denied murdering his mistress. According to Shen's testimony, on the evening of October 6, he met with Yi to discuss breaking up. Qin Jiayi accepted the breakup proposal and also agreed to leave the apartment that Tum had bought for her and move out. Afterward, Qin Jiayi asked Shen to leave the apartment so she could have peace, as she was still in shock from the sudden breakup proposal. Shen stated that he went out to buy a bag to gather his belongings, gloves to clean the kitchen, along with deodorizer because he wanted to redecorate the apartment before renting it out. On the morning of October 7, Shen returned to the apartment and found all his belongings scattered on the floor. He believed that Yi might have been drunk in the bedroom, but did not go in to check. He just gathered his things and left. For convenience, he used a cart to transport heavy wine boxes out of the apartment. On October 10th, Shen went to the apartment again and found Yi's access card neatly placed on the table, next to a 100 yuan note folded into a heart shape. He thought this was a sign that Yi had left and began calling craftsmen to refurbish the apartment. Thum also testified that he used the company's phone to call Yi after October 6th, but no one answered. Investigating the phone recordings at Shen's company, the police discovered that after October 6th, Shen indeed called Yi's mobile phone 3 times, each time with the phone ringing or vibrating sounds in the background. This made the police suspect that Shen had taken Yi's phone to create the appearance that she was still alive. On April 24, 2012, When Chen Wenshan appeared at the departure hall of Lok Machao, he was arrested on suspicion of murdering Qin Jiayi. However, due to insufficient evidence, Yi was subsequently released. Although Qin Jiayi's body had not been found, the police did not cease the investigation. Instead, they mobilized forces to search for any related traces. The police focused on gathering evidence from various sources, including testimonies from the building's management staff and Qin Jiayi's neighbors. Most importantly, were the purchase receipts from a grocery store where Chen Wenshan had visited on October 6. Evidence from the grocery store, along with the store owner's testimony, further strengthened the suspicion when matched with surveillance camera footage showing Trun pulling a large and heavy bag leaving the building. In March 2014, Chen Wenshan was arrested again. This time, he did not say a word, maintaining absolute silence. The trial in August 2015 was highly tense. Chen Wenshan denied all the prosecution's allegations. However, based on circumstantial evidence, the jury unanimously agreed that he committed murder and sentenced him to life imprisonment. This is considered the first successful no-body murder case in Hong Kong with a conviction without direct evidence. However, in 2017, this verdict was overturned after Chen Wenshan successfully appealed on the grounds that the judge had provided inaccurate and incomplete instructions to the jury when rendering the verdict. According to the law, only when the hypothesis that Yi was murdered is the sole possibility can the jury convict Chen Wenshan. In this case, Yi could have been killed or could have fled. The jury could not be certain that Yi was murdered, so they had to choose the hypothesis favorable to Shen, which is to acquit him. Due to procedural errors, the Court of Appeal overturned Chen Wenshan's original trial verdict in 2017 and remanded the case for retrial. The retrial held at the end of 2017 brought an unexpected turning point in Chen Wenshan's case when he unexpectedly confessed to the manslaughter of Qin Jiayi after 6 years of concealment. According to his testimony, on the night of October 6, 2011, Shen went to Qin Jiayi's home, hoping to end the relationship peacefully. However, Yi became agitated, continuously pushing and shoving him, leading to a struggle. A moment of losing control turned into a tragedy forever. In that moment, as Shen tried to restrain her, the inevitable happened. Yi was pinned to the ground, leading to asphyxiation. After realizing that Qin Jiayi was dead, fear and despair overtook Shen's mind. He no longer thought about saving the situation. Instead, he feared losing his family and career. With a panicked mind, Shen decided to conceal the crime. However, because he didn't have a car that day, he returned the next morning. On the morning of October 7, 2011, Chen Wenshan returned to the apartment to retrieve the victim's 2 phones and SIM card. Then, he bought a large bag and dragged the body out of the building using a cart borrowed from the management office. Chen Wenshan drove with Qin Jiayi's body in the trunk, his mind confused as he looked for a place to cremate. Finally, while passing a garbage station in Zhongguan-o, he decided to throw the bag containing the body into the garbage truck, turning the victim's body into an anonymous part of the waste pile. At the trial, when asked why he decided to confess to the crime after many years of silence, Shen choked up and said, "I was too selfish. I feared losing everything and didn't dare to face my responsibilities. But now I have nothing left to lose. I just want to honestly take responsibility with everyone." However, due to a series of post-murder actions such as disposing of the body, impersonating the victim to conceal the crime, and not honestly reporting the incident, the jury still found the defendant guilty of murder and sentenced him to life imprisonment. The case became the subject for Hong Kong filmmakers in Port of Call, 2015, and Demon's Path, 2018. The Qin Jiayi case, which occurred in 2011, shocked the public for many years. Chen Wenshan, a man who once held status and success, had to face a complete downfall after being arrested in 2014. The original trial took place in 2015, the appeal in 2017, and finally the retrial at the end of 2017, where all the truths began to emerge. From a successful man, Tom gradually fell into the depths of life when he fell into a relationship with a nightclub hostess. After being arrested in 2014, Shen's wife filed for divorce in 2016. His 2 grown sons also refused to see him. With nothing left, he became despondent and gradually lost the will to fight. Finally, in the retrial, after many years of denial, Chen Wenchen could no longer escape the gnawing of his conscience and decided to confess to the crime. It was a confession that not only ended the prolonged case, but also closed a life of mistakes and shattered tragedies.
In 2015, public opinion in India was shaken by the news that Indrani Mukherjee, a female billionaire with a perfect image and a role model for many girls, had been arrested for murdering her own biological daughter. This tragic case, with its unexpected details, left the public shuddering at the bottomless greed of the tycoon who had once been admired nationwide for her talent and determination to rise above. What is even more frightening is that Indrani Mukherjee put a lot of effort into setting up a deadly trap to kill her daughter, and the motives revealed afterward left the public in shock. So, what could turn a model mother, a wealthy and powerful woman like Indrani Mukherjee, into a cold-blooded monster capable of killing her own biological daughter? All will be revealed right now. The character today is a 25-year-old girl named Sheena Bora, living in Mumbai, the capital of Maharashtra and one of the most populous cities in India. This place is praised as the City of Lights, a vibrant and vast city home to the great architectural works of the country known as the Land of Mythology, India. Mumbai has a population of 21 million and has some of the wealthiest and most luxurious residential areas in Asia. Moreover, this city is also the home of Bollywood, India's largest film industry, where most of the country's world-famous movies like Dangal and Three Idiots are produced. This is the city where artists and performers come to seek jobs and fame. However, we would hardly imagine that behind this glamorous and magnificent exterior, there was once a case that shocked all of India, and that is the case of Sheena Bora's murder. Sheena Bora was born on February 11, 1987, in Guwahati, Assam, India. Her father is Siddhartha Das, and her mother is Puri Bora, later known as Indrani Mukherjee. Soon after Sheena was born, Das and Puri's relationship began to deteriorate for many reasons, and eventually, they divorced. One of the main reasons for the divorce was that Siddhartha Das was an unemployed man with no ambition. Meanwhile, Indrani was extremely ambitious and always determined to change her life to join the upper class. For Indrani, the only way to achieve her ambition was to work hard, so she found taking care of children and fulfilling a mother's duties quite redundant. Thus, Indrani left Sheena with her parents to focus on her work. In 1990, Indrani Mukherjee moved to Kolkata, married her second husband, Sanjeev Khanna, and had another daughter named Vidhi, born in 1997. Sanjeev was previously Indrani's business partner, so the two soon developed feelings for each other and got married in 1993. After that, to continue generating income, they decided to open a recruitment company called Inex Services. To further develop their business, Indrani only collaborated with wealthy and powerful men. It can be said that this couple built their business empire with the support of this recruitment company. However, gradually, the two began to lose feelings for each other, so by 2002, they divorced. But Indrani didn't take long to find a third husband named Peter Mukherjee, born in 1956, who was the CEO of one of India's most famous media companies, Star India. So it can be said that Indrani found an ideal husband because if Peter was the CEO of Star India, he would naturally have many connections and wealth, making this the most apparent opportunity for her to change her life. From there, Inex Service began to expand quite rapidly, and behind this growth, both Indrani and her ex-husband Sanjeev decided to part ways to make room for her and Peter. Until 2007, this powerful couple co-founded India's renowned media company, 9X Media, with multiple subsidiaries specializing in programs for the 90s generation and youth music channels. Indrani Mukherjee herself served as the CEO while her husband was the chairman of the group. 9X Media was established through two companies, Inex Media and Inex News, and later renamed Inex Media in 2010. In 2008, the Wall Street Journal listed Indrani Mukherjee as one of the 50 women to watch, describing her as a business star in India. Despite being a successful entrepreneur, Indrani was a complete failure as a mother. On her daughter Sheena's 14th birthday, Indrani was absent. She did not attend, citing work commitments and a business trip to New Delhi, promising to send a gift to Sheena later. Years of celebrating birthdays without her mother or father made Sheena very angry and depressed. In her diary found later, she wrote, "Oh, happy birthday to me, but I am not happy. It seems like I have nothing in this life and I feel like an extra in this world, nothing to do, no purpose to live, and no future for me. Only loneliness and depression surround me from all sides. Life is disgusting, and I hate my mother. She is nothing but a damned witch and not my mother, but an evil sorceress." The next day, on February 12, 2003, she wrote, "So many people over all these years and only God knows why she married that old man. I hate her and hope she is sentenced and condemned to the 18th layer of hell." In 2006, overwhelmed with resentment, Sheena devised a meticulous plan to kill her stepfather and biological mother. The first step required her to live with Indrani, and as expected, Indrani did not hesitate to agree for Sheena to live with her and Peter. However, Indrani had one condition. When people asked, Sheena had to claim to be Indrani's younger sister because Indrani did not want anyone to know she had a child before reaching the peak of her career. After Indrani made this strange request, Sheena did not care much and immediately agreed. Thanks to her talent and her mother's support, Sheena Bora was admitted to St. Xavier's School and successfully earned a Bachelor of Arts degree after 3 years of study from 2006 to 2009. By 2011, Sheena joined Reliance One as an assistant director. For Indrani, during the time she neglected her children and family for her career, she and Peter had 2 children. However, things became complicated when fate brought Sheena and one of Peter's children, Rahul Mukherjee, together. They quickly developed feelings for each other and started spending more time together, leading to the inevitable. Sheena and Rahul developed romantic feelings and became a couple. Naturally, when Indrani learned of this, she vehemently opposed the relationship, which defied moral norms since, by blood, they were siblings. Furthermore, Indrani feared that if Sheena Bora married Rahul, her wealthy husband's assets would be divided, affecting her interests. Upon discovering this illicit relationship, Indrani sent Sheena back to her grandparents. After some time, she hoped her daughter would come to her senses and let go of the harmful things in her life. However, not long after returning home, Sheena fell ill suspiciously. Upon hearing this, Indrani tirelessly sent medicine for her grandparents to care for her. As for Rahul, after learning that Sheena was seriously ill, he decided to sell everything he had to raise enough money to visit his half-sister, whom he also considered his girlfriend. However, when Rahul arrived, he realized that something was wrong. He was extremely frightened to see Sheena's condition worsening day by day with no signs of improvement. Rahul consulted with doctors and uncovered a shocking truth. It turned out that the medication Indrani had been giving her daughter all this time was sedatives, the kind used to treat schizophrenia. Upon learning this, Sheena immediately stopped taking the medication, and surprisingly, her health condition improved significantly. Both decided that Sheena would move to Rahul's family home to live with him. After this near-death experience, Sheena decided to avoid her mother and wanted nothing more to do with her. Finally, in 2009, the two moved to another apartment in Mumbai to enjoy their private life. They vowed that if Indrani tried to separate them again, they would not let her get away with it. In 2011, despite being half-siblings, they decided to get engaged, and upon hearing the news, Indrani was extremely angry and disappointed. At that time, Indrani could be considered at the peak of her fame as she was serving as the CEO of Inex Media and was also one of the most successful and powerful businesswomen in India at the time. In 2012, 8 years after Sheena moved to Mumbai and 4 years after her engagement to her fateful love, the relationship between the mother and daughter increasingly deteriorated and became extremely complicated. On April 24, 2012, Sheena was incredibly surprised when her mother invited her to dinner. She immediately told Rahul about this and decided to go meet her. Afterward, Rahul drove Sheena to the area near Bandra National College to meet her mother. However, Rahul had no idea that this would be the last meeting with his fiancée. At that time, Rahul was not overly worried because, after all, it was just a simple dinner between the two. Moreover, no matter how bad the relationship between Indrani and Sheena was, nothing serious could happen. However, more than 20 hours had passed and Rahul had not received any messages from Sheena, so he began to worry. He decided to call her, but no one answered the phone. Not long after, Rahul received a message from Sheena saying that she had decided to stay overnight at a nearby hotel. This confused Rahul greatly because Sheena and her mother did not get along. Furthermore, before leaving, Sheena had confirmed she would be back and even asked Rahul to pick her up at 10 p.m. Therefore, Rahul continued to text and call, but all his efforts only received a strange message from Sheena. She said they should cancel the engagement and break up because she had found someone else and did not want to be with Rahul anymore. Rahul began to worry and could not sit still, so he called Indrani, who said that Sheena had gone to the US for higher studies. However, Sheena Bora had lost all contact and seemed to disappear from the world after April 24, 2012. Being suddenly broken up with for no clear reason, Rahul Mukherjee continuously tried to contact his girlfriend but failed, so he went to the police to report her missing. He believed the breakup message he received was not sent by Sheena Bora and suspected there was a hidden story behind this. Everything only came to light on August 21, 2015, when driver Shyam Rai was arrested by the police for possessing illegal weapons. During the interrogation, Shyam Rai unexpectedly confessed that he had killed someone with a meticulous and sophisticated plan along with mastermind Indrani Mukherjee 3 years earlier. Rai said he was Indrani's driver and she had offered to eliminate the person in exchange for any favor he wanted. Indrani promised to provide medical support for his entire family and additionally, she would pay the school fees for Rai's children. This was indeed an offer he could not refuse and was extremely beneficial for him. It would change Rai's family's difficult life forever. On that fateful night of April 24th, Sheena Bora was with her mother and driver Shyam Rai, and surprisingly, her second ex-husband Sanjeev Khanna was also in the car. Sheena innocently got into the car without any suspicion or caution. Suddenly, Indrani asked her daughter if she was thirsty, so Sheena did not hesitate to take the drink and quench her thirst. However, after drinking, she felt very sleepy and slumped onto her mother's shoulder. Indrani then ordered driver Shyam Rai to stop the car in a secluded area to start their crime. They gagged, tied Sheena's hands and feet, and then strangled the unfortunate girl until she stopped breathing completely. After killing her own daughter, Indrani remained cold-faced and calm as if she had planned this for a long time. Indrani then ordered the driver to drive to her private house in Worli. Sanjeev and Indrani got out of the car and spent the night at a roadside hotel, while Rai stayed in the car with Sheena's body to keep watch. To avoid police checks, Indrani applied lipstick, combed Sheena's hair, and sprayed perfume on the body after the murder so that almost no one noticed that her car contained a corpse. Not stopping there, early the next morning, to mislead the police into thinking that Sheena was unwell and sleeping, Indrani propped her daughter's head on her shoulder. The three of them continued driving to a small town called Pentazal, about 90 kilometers from Mumbai, to dispose of the body. When they reached the village of Pentazal, Shyam Rai stopped the car in a secluded area with few passers-by. Indrani and her ex-husband pulled Sheena's body out of the car, wrapped it in several plastic bags, doused it with petrol, burned the unfortunate girl's body, and finally threw it into a ravine to hide it. After personally killing her daughter, Indrani tried to create many fake evidences to make everyone believe that Sheena Bora was still alive. The media mogul asked her staff to create an email account in Sheena Bora's name, telling her subordinates that Sheena Bora was busy in the US and asked her to create the email. From this email address, the culprit sent a resignation letter to Reliance One Metro, where Sheena worked. The villain also sent a letter to the landlord of her daughter's apartment to cancel the lease and used the victim's phone to send breakup messages to Rahul. In May 2012, the body of Sheena Bora was found in the forest a few weeks after she was murdered. The condition of the body was so deteriorated that it was difficult to identify. The fire had destroyed all the tissue and skin of the victim, making it extremely difficult to determine the identity of the victim for the investigation. However, it was not until 3 years after Sheena was murdered that her body was identified, and the police immediately began investigating Indrani's family. Through the investigation process, on August 25, 2015, the billionaire Indrani Mukherjee was arrested by the police on suspicion of murdering her daughter in 2012. Just one day later, On August 26, 2015, Indrani's ex-husband Sanjeev was also arrested in Kolkata and charged under Sections 364 kidnapping, 302 murder, 201 causing the disappearance of evidence, and 120b conspiracy of the Indian Penal Code in the criminal case. Sanjeev is said to have confessed to his crimes. On November 19, 2015, the Indian police arrested Indrani's third husband, Peter Mukherjee, on charges of conspiracy to murder, fraud, and kidnapping. Like his wife, he also did not support the relationship between his son Rahul and Sheena. Although Indrani was committing the murder, Peter Mukherjee was on a business trip in London, but they frequently called each other to update on the situation. Peter Mukherjee was considered a co-conspirator in the case. Indian public opinion was shocked by the news that the country's media queen had been arrested for murdering her own daughter. The reason she acted so brutally was because, after becoming successful, to hide her complicated past from her billionaire husband, she had lied to everyone that Sheena and her brother, children of her first husband back in the countryside, were her younger siblings. The motive for the murder, later declared by the police, shocked everyone. The billionaire had killed her daughter because the man she was in a relationship with was none other than Rahul Mukherjee, the stepson of her billionaire husband. She feared that if they got married, Sheena would help Rahul get more of his father's assets, affecting her future inheritance. The malicious mother reasoned that Sheena would use the secret about their mother-daughter relationship as leverage to force her to give assets to Rahul. Before that, Sheena had used this matter to demand her mother buy her house and a car, but she naturally did not agree. The greed and cruelty of India's once media queen did not stop there. To protect herself from exposure and disgrace in front of her billionaire husband, Indrani also planned to kill Sheena's brother and dispose of both bodies at once. Not long before killing Sheena, she had poisoned her son Mikhail, but it was unsuccessful. After 12 years, the case of Sheena Bora's murder has not reached a final conclusion due to its many complex details. Despite being charged by the court with kidnapping, fraud, and murder, Indrani Mukherjee has not admitted to all the crimes and continues to defend and appeal. In mid-August 2021, the Indian Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) announced the conclusion of their investigation and will soon make a judgment for the once famous billionaire. It is unfortunate that this case has not yet reached its conclusion, and the masterminds are still at large. In usual cases, a confession and DNA evidence are enough to convict, but in this case, everything seems meaningless. Since then, Indrani has stubbornly insisted that Sheena Bora is still alive to cover up her crime. Now, after all we can do is pray and hope that the Indian police will soon deliver the final judgment to free the unfortunate girl. In 2016, the famous Bengali director and film producer Agniath Chatterjee released the film Dark Chocolate, with some scenes inspired by the murder of Sheena Bora. The film features two famous Indian actors, Mahima Chaudhary and Riya Sen, playing Indrani Mukherjee and Sheena Bora, respectively. Netflix released the documentary The Indrani Mukherjee Story, Buried Truth on February 29, 2024. The murder of Sheena Bora reflects the complexity often found in an upper-class family. The relationships among the Mukherjee family members were very tangled, with overlapping romantic and familial ties. The Sheena Bora case highlighted several issues within the Indian legal system, including delays in the trial process and complex legal procedures. These delays not only affected the defendants but also eroded public trust in the judicial system. Furthermore, the case demonstrated the need for improving investigative and trial processes to ensure fairness and efficiency. The motive for the crime in this case was particularly shocking as it involved the mother ruthlessly killing her daughter. The Sheena Bora case is not just a simple criminal case but a complex story about family, power, finances, and the legal system. This case has attracted widespread attention and raised important questions about ethics, legal issues, and other societal problems. The complexity and impact of this case will be discussed and studied for many years to come, at least until the case reaches its conclusion. Therefore, the case of Sheena Bora is one of the most famous and complex murder cases in India in the 21st century because it involves the upper class and the defendants are all powerful and wealthy figures in Indian society. This case has provided lessons on human ethics and how greed can blind people. It underscores the importance of maintaining healthy family relationships and warns about the dangers of allowing power and personal ambition to overshadow basic moral values. This can be considered a typical example of the complexity of criminal cases involving family and finances. It is not just an individual's tragedy, but also a broader story about the legal system, the role of the media, and social issues.